Okay, and then we saved the absolute best for last, this concept of rewilding. And like Angela and I are both absolutely fascinated by this concept. Um, and so the farthest I've been able to go really in my own thinking about, meaningful experiences and connecting back to our inner essence, it's obviously more from like the spiritual sense. It's connecting to the essence of who we are, to sort of integrate and become like a whole integrated conscious being, right? But there's obviously that's the inner aspect, but there's a completely different aspect of that, like inner connectedness of a human being, which is much more about the external environment. It's much more about nature and the mother nature and earthing ourselves. So can you describe to us the concept of rewilding, what it is, and why it's so important for people to relearn really how to be wild again today, and how you're applying this concept to your own business?
Yeah, this is it's a concept, or it's more than a concept. It's that is very close to my heart, and it's very popular, and it's very strong in Africa, and where a lot of those conservation projects also they have a component of rewilding, and I see this, and it's very rewilding or regenerative approach, and bringing natural habitats to original habitats of introducing species. And this is it was there already there before this COVID, and just also outside of Africa. But I think with COVID-19, this and where we through this we can see this escalating pain everywhere. But we can also see how we trigger, or we bring the humans are going back to the basics, and they have to go back to the craving to go back to the basics and go closer to Mother Nature. And how I see that this crisis came as a wake-up call for Mother Nature. Say, guys, this doesn't work. This is not sustainable. This is we need to rewild, reconnect with nature, go to basics. And we, as a Luxury Frontiers, we have been doing this for a long time. We're already crafting engaging experiences in nature, designing always contextually, and always as within the nature. So we are spiritually and literally very close to nature. And I think COVID-19 is the result of this humanity's abusive relationship that we have with our planet. And this is very, very sad. And this has been a wake-up call, a very strong wake-up call. And why all of this? Because I see and envision that we pushed our fragile ecosystems to the edge and build roads. We deforestate territories. We clear land for cattle farming, agricultural development. We eradicate wildlife and flora. And so we put all this we put in jeopardy entire ecosystems, and all these natural ecosystems are being completely unbalanced. And the COVID came from a bat through a pangolin and then to the human. And this is because we really pushed the fragile ecosystem to the edge. And so this is a strong opportunity for reset. And for reset and to rebalance nature, but also to rebalance ourselves with nature, by nature, embracing nature and inspiring us. And so I think, and so And then so how I see rewilding is not just with the natural environment, but I see rewilding of ourselves.
Our own wilderness, in the inner wilderness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people look at the rewilding as for nature, but it's really I'm looking for to help humankind to rewild to themselves, to run wild, or to disconnect, to connect. And this is a further step, a step further from that traditional travel tag that we had a few years ago. And we are all overwhelmed and all by technology. And we don't know how to read a map anymore. The kids don't know how to read a map. They ask Siri or Alexa or whatever, the iPhone, or how to go to A to B, from A to B and C. They have no idea. We don't, even us, we don't. And so technology became, we have been abusing technology, and that's unfortunate. And so rewilding, it applies to people, has to apply to people. We have to learn about from the land. We need to learn from wild plants. We need to learn from animals and encourage adoption of traditional lifestyles and indigenous ancestral cultures. We don't know how to cook anymore like the local indigenous, just with the basic flavors. So I mean that's I think it's what it's really important. And so it's really disconnect to connect. I think.
I love that one saying that you have. I think it may be your current tagline, having to do with it's not about 5 stars, it's about 5 billion stars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really embracing nature and be inspired by nature, but also take care of nature. So that's it's a two-way road. A two-way road. Sorry. We cannot just abuse nature and be inspired by nature, but it has to take care of nature.
And it also inspires us to dream, because when we're out there staring up at the stars, you can't help but imagine yourself so small on this planet compared to the vastness.
No, that gives you perspective. Yeah, that's true.
But
so I was thinking. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
We need to remind ourselves that we are nature.
We are part of nature. We are all one.
We are only one species that we have been here for 10,000 plus years, 20,000 plus years or more, and nature has been here for 3+ billion years. Yes. So nature is our genius master. We need to learn from nature, Mother Nature, or how to resolve things. Mother Nature is very sustainable. Is a series of very sustainable ecosystems. So why, when we need to create something or take care of something, let's learn from nature. The nature already figured it out 3 billion years ago.
Yeah.
We are nature.
And we need to figure out that we are nature.
We are now.
We need to relearn that.
We need to come to the realization that we are nature. We are, and so.
I loved what you said earlier about like reconnecting with these primal instincts. And I had to laugh yesterday because last night we were sort of like running through, you know, what we wanted to say obviously on the show. And then I got to this like accidental insight that it's so hilarious that we spent literally the last 2,000 years to become completely civilized and cut ourselves off from nature, and now we are considering luxury bringing all this primal self back to life, which is what we were like systematically trying to suppress for the last 2,000 years. And now, because it's like we really cannot connect with it anymore, now it's become luxurious. So we're almost like completely offsetting the last 2,000 years of human civilization.
But it also makes sense because in luxury, it's the only aspect of the market that really encourages you to connect with the senses. So
that's true. Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense why that's so it's not just luxury because it's scarce, because we don't do it and we're really not fully alive in this sort of, you know, monotonous, like almost robotic autopilot sort of way that we functioned. I mean, before the COVID, like hopefully we're not going back to that kind of functioning anymore. So it's not just scarce because we don't do that. It's also a luxury precisely because it like enhances and sort of elevates that inner, you know, sense of being alive, that like perceptiveness and sensuality, sensitivity, and like you know, being like interacting with the environment and different senses through touch and smell and like what you see and the colors, and that whole like primal instinct of that sensory being. That's very luxurious. You're right. You're absolutely right. But then why is that luxury? Why is it not something like, why is that out of ordinary? Why
But
is that
it
not
usually
something that we
starts as luxury and then it will trickle down to the masses.
trickle
That's
down?
typically where the
Yeah.
patterns lie.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it will trickle down soon enough so that
I hope that we don't. I really hope we don't go back to what we were before.
we were before.
I don't think we
hope
can.
we don't go back to normal.
Yeah.
Because that means we are not going to. We are not learning anything. So I'm very scared because people have a short memory, and very easily we go back to where we are if we don't have a leadership. So now it's really important to have a very strong leadership, and we will see here in the States in the next few months. And for example, this is a strong opportunity for all of us to have a positive change.
Yes, it's definite learning
The
experience.
next one will be worse than this. So we need to learn from this.